Provincial Planning and Development Office. Accomplishment Report. From November 2025 to April 2026. In our journey towards progress, here are the following programs projects activities. Availment from the national government. In 2024, the province of Surigao del Sur was awarded a road project under Pamana, the concreting of J&R Caramata Road 8 km in San Miguel, with a total cost of 90 million pesos. Construction commenced in September 2024 and has now been successfully completed. On December 2, 2025, Pamana focal person Abigail C. Arienzano, together with Ms. Nelly Quares of the Provincial Accountant's Office, submitted the final liquidation documents for the fiscal year 2024 Pamana project and processed the first tranche of fiscal year 2025 funding amounting to 40 million pesos, ensuring the continuity of program implementation. An inspection by the OPA-PRU Pamana National Project Management Office was conducted to verify the project's completion, quality, and compliance with approved plans and technical specifications prior to its formal turnover. The inspection team is headed by J. Anthony B. Peña, Director of the Pamana National Program Management Office. In 2024, Surigao del Sur completed the 8-km J&R Caramata Road in San Miguel under the Pamana program, improving access and economic opportunities. The Pamana focal person ensured smooth coordination, monitoring, and compliance throughout implementation. The turnover ceremony marks the handover of the completed project and the start of the fiscal year 2025 project, highlighting continued infrastructure investment, strong stakeholder collaboration, and the government's commitment to peace building and inclusive development. The turnover and groundbreaking ceremonies were attended by key OPA-PRU officials, including Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., Deputy Secretary Isidro L. Purisima, Director J. Anthony B. Peña and Director Elisa D. Evangelista Lapina, and AFP Major General Mitchell B. Aneron Jr. Their presence highlighted strong national support and strengthened collaboration with the provincial government of Surigao del Sur toward inclusive growth and lasting peace. During the visit of OPA-PRU Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., a commitment was made for the construction of 2 bridges in Sitio Lago and Sitio Gis Anan Barangay Caramata San Miguel and a slope protection project in Barangay Calatnan. Following this, the Pamana focal person and Provincial Engineering Office conducted site validation to prepare the necessary technical documents for submission to OPA-PRU. The OPA-PRU Pamana and PMO conducted the first quarter monitoring of the fiscal year 2025 Pamana project and a community consultation in Barangay Bagyang San Miguel to assess project progress, ensure compliance, and gather stakeholder feedback to strengthen community participation. For fiscal year 2026, the province of Surigao del Sur was granted a total of 200 million pesos worth of infrastructure projects under the Pamana program of the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity. These include the construction of Barangay Bagyang to Bitaugan Road Phase 2, construction of Raha, Kabungsuan Road from Pinanapatan to Kilometer 8 National Road, and concreting of Farm to Market Road from Kilometer 9 to Kilometer 16. The Memorandum of Agreement signing on March 26, 2026, was attended by Abigail C. Arienzano and Vice Governor Manuel O. Alameda Sr., representing Governor Johnny T. Pimentel. These projects aim to improve connectivity, market access, and agricultural productivity while supporting inclusive development and peace building. Project Lawa at Binhi or Project Local Adaptation to Water Access and Breaking Insufficiency through Nutritious Harvest for the Impoverished is a flagship initiative of the Department of Social Welfare and Development under the Risk Resiliency Program, implemented through Cash for Training and Cash for Work modalities supported by the Provincial Government of Surigao del Sur. The program aims to strengthen community resilience by addressing 2 critical and interconnected challenges: water scarcity and food insecurity that are largely caused by the worsening impacts of climate change, including prolonged droughts, erratic rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events that disrupt water systems and agricultural production. Presented the program's accomplishment report for calendar year 2025 at PGO Conference Room on November 26, 2025 during the joint DSWD-RMD courtesy call and field visit, highlighting key activities and initiatives from social preparation to turnover ceremonies. The activity was attended by Governor Johnny T. Pimentel, along with the DSWD-RMD Central Office Project Focal Person for Mindanao representatives from DSWD Field Office Caraga and members of the Technical Working Group of Surigao del Sur. Implemented across 6 municipalities in the province of Surigao del Sur, the program has directly benefited a total of 1,500 partner beneficiaries for calendar year 2026, representing some of the most vulnerable households in the target communities. This initiative was made possible through a total government investment of 13,050,000 pesos. As the program enters its third year of implementation, the regional focal implementers, in coordination with members of the Provincial Technical Working Group, conducted the MLGU Forum and Site Validation to municipalities of Linggig, Hinatuan, Barobo, Bayabas, and Lanuza, last February 4, 11, 18-19, and March 10, 2026, to align all LGUs with program goals, clarifies roles, responsibilities, and counterparting among LGUs, strengthens coordination and avoids duplication, assess the feasibility and overall progress of the implementation process. To define program directions, align priorities, and formulate implementation strategies, the strategic planning workshop was successfully conducted last March 25 to 26, 2026 at PDRRM office, bringing together concerned project implementers from PPDO, PFARO, OPAG, PENRO, PDRRMO, and LGU focal persons. Participated in the final inspection of the construction of Junction Mahogany to Barangay Tagpupuran Road Section and Phase 2 in Linggig, Surigao del Sur on April 29, 2026, together with DILG and the Provincial Engineer's Office, to verify compliance with approved plans, specifications, and infrastructure standards. On April 20, 2026, Acting Governor Manuel O. Alameda Sr. led the turnover of 6 ambulance units to Linggig Community Hospital, Bislig District Hospital, Marihatag District Hospital, San Miguel Community Hospital, Cortes Municipal Hospital, and Madrid District Hospital. The program aims to strengthen emergency response, improve access to remote areas, and enhance life-saving services for vulnerable and indigent patients. A coordination meeting presided by Acting Governor Manuel O. Alameda Sr. was held on April 28, 2026 at the PGO Conference Hall to discuss the rice subsidy and distribution program. The initiative aims to provide food assistance to indigent and vulnerable families, ensuring food security, easing the impact of inflation, and supporting local agricultural livelihoods. The PPDO supports the implementation of designated provincial functions and services, including programs of the Provincial Youth Development Office, the Surigao del Sur Academy for Good Governance, and the Seal of Good Local Governance. The PPDO, through the Assistant Provincial Planning and Development Coordinator designated as Provincial Youth Development Officer, supported the implementation of programs and services of the Provincial Youth Development Office under the Provincial Governor's Office. The first quarter fiscal year 2026 Provincial Youth Development Council meeting was conducted on March 24, 2026 at the SDS Academy Office Legislative Building, Capitol Hill, Tandag City. The PYDC first quarter meeting was successfully been conducted and fruitfully discussed the following agenda: presentation and discussions of the approved budget for fiscal year 2026, review and enhancement of the 2026 Annual Provincial Youth Development Plan, preparation of activity project proposals, designs of 2026 PPAs to be submitted to partner offices agencies, M&E report submission, planning for capacity development interventions for PYDC members, scheduling of PYDC quarterly meetings, presentation of 2025 PYDO accomplishment report, and other matters. Technical support was provided by the PGO Provincial Youth Development Office through PYDO designate ANP Carolina Artidalgo, who served as resource speaker on ESKI web portal submission and compliance during the joint first quarter ESKI Federation and Local Youth Development Council meeting in Lianga on February 2, 2026. Ms. Tidalgo encouraged ESKI officials of Lianga to regularly submit reports through the ESKI web portal, emphasizing its importance for monitoring and evaluation compliance, while also assisting them in encoding required information and documents into the system. Assisted the propelling our inherited nation through our youth, in securing financial support from the Provincial Governor's Office and technical support from the Provincial Administrator's Office for the conduct of the Youth Capacity Building Camp Panaghimama 2026 held on February 21 to 22, 2026 in Marihatag, Surigao del Sur. The Sursur Youth Visionary Leadership Award was presented to PYDC members in recognition of their contributions, initiatives, and support to the programs and activities of the PGO Provincial Youth Development Office for fiscal year 2025. Sangguniang Panlalawigan Ordinance No. 57-17 Series of 2017 established the Surigao del Sur Academy for Barangay Good Governance to serve as a training institution for governance and human resource development and to promote leadership and integrity in local governance. One of the accomplishments of the SDS Academy for Good Governance was the conduct of the 2025 SDS Academy Assessment and Strategic Development Planning Learning Excursions, which reviewed accomplishments, addressed operational concerns, prepared the 2026 operational plan, and gathered insights on good governance practices in Baguio City. The 2025 SDS Academy Assessment and Strategic Development Planning Learning Excursions was participated by the Academy CEO Provincial Administrator John Vincent C. Pimentel, together with the SDS Academy management, staff, and faculty members. Before proceeding to Baguio City, the participants received the blessings and support of the province's two representatives, Honorable Alexander T. Pimentel and Honorable Romeo Ismomo Sr. Grateful to have met and generated learnings directly from some of the proactive personnel of the city government of Baguio. The first quarter meeting of SDS Academy management, staff, and faculty members was conducted last March 12, 2026 at the SDS Academy office. The first quarter meeting successfully discussed proposed amendments to the SDS Academy Ordinance, including its title, Inclusion of Legal Units in the Organizational Structure, Policy on the Use of the SDS Academy logo, opening of a fund account and issuance of official receipts, as well as capacity development interventions for 2026, training design and module development, operations manual preparation, and other matters. The PPDO, through the APPDC, serves as the SGLG focal person and provides full support in implementing related activities and establishing coordination mechanisms with PGSDS offices and departments. In January 2026, the APPDC as SGLG focal person completed the documentary requirements for the SGLF incentive fund used to procure 2 patrol vehicles. The 2 L300 units were successfully delivered and received by the provincial government. On March 11, 2026, through the support provided by the office's SGLG focal persons and the overall SGLG focal person designate ANP Carolina Artidalgo, the 2025 LGU profiling and SGLG self-assessment was successfully updated in the DILG Local Governance Performance Management System. We have maintained the adherence to the established SGLG standards. The province flagship projects. The Department of Agriculture, together with representatives from the National Office, PhilFIDA, LGUs, and key stakeholders, conducted a critiquing session on the feasibility study of the Abaca Agro-Industrial Corridor project to strengthen the proposal prior to funding and implementation. The activity reviewed the project rationale, objectives, proposed interventions, and expected socio-economic benefits for Abaca farmers and industry stakeholders. Technical inputs and recommendations focused on implementation strategies, market assumptions, institutional arrangements, and sustainability measures. Following the activity, the comments were incorporated into the final feasibility study. Documentary requirements were completed and submitted, and the project was approved for Phase 1 implementation in 2027. Another flagship project of the province, the Integrated Coconut Processing Plant, conducted an online meeting with the ICP supplier provided with complete data and technical information. It was well attended by ICP stakeholders and Mafisco, the project beneficiary, and Mafamuco of San Miguel. The proposed special project named Establishment of Integrated Coconut Processing Plant conducted a roundtable discussion with the participation of ICP Technical Working Group, Mafisco, the proposed project beneficiary identified by OPAC, the ICP supplier who presented the technical aspect of the project. The meeting was presided by Honorable Governor Johnny T. Pimentel and online attendee Provincial Administrator Mr. John Vincent C. Pimentel. The stakeholders' consultation on the coconut industry, presented updated data and discussed key issues and opportunities in the value chain, with inputs from the Philippine Coconut Authority and farmers' associations to strengthen sector development and sustainability. On April 30, 2026, PPDO and the Office of the Provincial Agriculturist conducted a field enumerator briefing for the commodity-based profiling in Tagbina, Surigao del Sur, to prepare enumerators for coconut production data gathering. The activity oriented participants on profiling objectives, tools, and procedures to ensure accurate collection and validation of production data. The profiling aims to assess whether local coconut production can sustainably supply the raw material requirements of the proposed facility. The activity will generate baseline data on coconut volume, productivity, and supply availability to support the assessment of the facility's long-term sustainability and operational viability. In collaboration with OPAG, the province of Surigao del Sur initiated a convergence effort with national agencies and private sector partners, including mining companies, to mobilize support for programs and projects strengthening the local coffee industry. This initiative is reinforced by the province's recent declaration as the coffee capital of the Caraga region, highlighting its growing potential in coffee production and commitment to sustainable agricultural development and inclusive economic growth. The PPDO, in coordination with PFARO, initiated a multi-stakeholder convergence with national agencies, NGOs, private sector partners, and mining companies to support the development of the seaweeds industry in Surigao del Sur. The initiative aims to mobilize investments and align resources for programs and projects that will improve production, strengthen value chains, and expand market linkages, contributing to sustainable livelihoods and economic growth in coastal communities. The I-Plan component of PRDP initiated a convergence MOA among national agencies, academe, NGOs, private sector, and the provincial government of Surigao del Sur, with a coordination meeting held to prepare for its signing and define roles, commitments, and priority collaboration areas. Following the convergence meeting for prime RAFIP commodities coffee and seaweeds, a stakeholders meeting was held to finalize the convergence MOA and refine proposed interventions. The activity aligned agency commitments and strengthened coordination for the development of the province's coffee and seaweed industries. Fundación CODESPA, in collaboration with Davao del Sur State College, conducted a 3-day training of trainers on seaweed bio-input production with participation from seaweed farmers and PLGU representatives. The activity promotes green transition in agri-food value chains in Caraga through the use of seaweed bio-inputs, utilization of seaweed waste and MSME compost, and reduced reliance on agrochemicals. In close coordination with OPAG and PFARO, PPDO is pursuing additional funding for the development of the province's coffee and seaweed industries under Governor Johnny T. Pimentel's direction. Mining companies have also expressed support for the initiative. Site validations and coordination meetings were conducted with stakeholders to identify priority interventions and align collaborative efforts for sustainable agricultural and fisheries development. Development plans. After incorporating the recommendations of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, the revised document was submitted to the Central Office for review on January 16, 2026. This presentation and critiquing session of the proposed AIP for calendar year 2027 aims to ensure that all proposed programs, projects, and activities are strategically aligned, technically sound, and financially viable. Validate the readiness and relevance of the PPAs prior to their inclusion in the AIP, and strengthen inter-office coordination and promote coherence across sectors. The table presents a comparison of key local development plans. The Provincial Development and Physical Framework Plan, or PDPFP, is a long-term strategic and spatial plan covering 9 to 12 years, which defines the province's vision, goals, and land use framework. In contrast, the Provincial Development and Investment Program, or PDIP, is a medium-term plan covering 3 to 6 years that identifies priority investments and corresponding programs, projects, and activities with cost estimates. The Annual Investment Program, or AIP, on the other hand, is derived from the PDIP and serves as the yearly list of ready-to-implement PPAs. The 2025 Renewable Energy Congress and Exhibit promoted sustainable energy solutions and collaboration, where the province showcased its milestones, best practices, and ongoing efforts in renewable energy and energy efficiency. The Joint Strategic Meeting on the SDSLAACP 2026 implementation gathered the province, DOA, MREC, and the International Climate Initiative to align energy priorities, strengthen coordination, and plan collaborative actions for effective energy efficiency and conservation initiatives. In line with the ILG Memorandum Circular 2021-054, provinces are encouraged to organize a Provincial People's Council, to be formally recognized by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan through a resolution. During its initial meeting on January 26, 2026, the officers unanimously adopted Nagkahiusang People's Council sa Surigao del Sur as the official name of the Provincial People's Council. The activity produced the province's vision, mission, and goals, guiding the 3-year CSO development agenda, designed to be responsive, inclusive, and aligned with LG needs and priorities. A coordination meeting was held on March 6, 2026 at the Provincial Planning Office, attended by RDC personnel, PPDO, and CSOs, to discuss the selection of the private sector representative to the RDC Caraga. GAD Office released 4 approved GAD review certificate to the following municipalities: Caguaje, Tagbina, Lianga, and the city of Bislig for AIP and annual budget attachment. This completes the 17 municipalities and 2 component cities of reviewed GAD plan and budget. The first quarterly meeting of the GAD Focal Point System and Technical Working Group had low participation. The GAD Secretariat encouraged members to actively join the second quarterly meeting to promote inclusive and gender-responsive governance. The GAD Focal Point System, with the TWG Review Team, Secretariat, and GFPS representatives, assessed the submitted 2027 GAD plan and budget, focusing on gender mainstreaming and its allocation relative to the agency's total annual budget. The province's GAD Agenda 2026 to 2028 was presented, reviewed, and finalized with the participation of the GAD Technical Working Group, GAD Review Team from PPDO, the GAD Secretariat, and GFPS members. A one-time Gender Sensitivity Training 101 orientation was successfully conducted for elected local officials, department heads, GFPS members, GAD TWG, Review Team, and the GAD Secretariat. Gender and development planning and budgeting is not just about compliance. It is about dignity, justice, and equality, ensuring that no one is left behind. Assisted the municipality of Carmen in conducting the Girl Assessment Tool to identify gaps and areas for improving GAD mainstreaming at the local level. PPDO assisted GAD Agenda and GAD Plan and Budget formulation of the local government unit of Lingig, Marihatag, Lanuza, Tagbina, Barobo, and San Agustin. Project Proposal Preparation. On February 18, 2026, the province of Surigao del Sur prepared and submitted a set of priority infrastructure project proposals to the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity for possible funding support. The proposals include the construction of Barangay Bagyang to Barangay Bitaugan Road Phase 2 located in Barangay Bagyang San Miguel, with an estimated cost of 60 million pesos. The concreting of Raha Kabungsuan Road Pinanapatan to Kilometer 8 National Road in Barangay Bugak Lingig, amounting to 100 million pesos. And the concreting of Farm to Market Road from Kilometer 9 to Kilometer 16 in Barangay Jataagon, Lianga, with proposed budget of 180 million pesos. Also included are critical support infrastructure such as the construction of a bridge at Sitio Ulagu 112.5 million pesos and the construction of a bridge at Sitio Gis-Anan 79 million pesos, both located in Barangay Karumata, San Miguel, as well as the construction of slope protection in Barangay Kalatinan, San Miguel, with an estimated cost of 75 million pesos. These proposed projects aim to further enhance road connectivity, improve access to essential services, strengthen disaster resilience, and support economic activities in geographically isolated and conflict-affected communities across the province. Research, evaluation, and statistics. Conducted the right shop for the finalization of the Surigao del Sur ecological profile, including data consolidation and validation, as well as final editorial review and book design for publication. Attended the meeting at PSA RSSO 13 in Butuan City to strengthen interagency collaboration and support regional statistical development initiatives. Participated in a 3-day training to strengthen fundamental statistical competencies for effective analysis, interpretation, and presentation of CBMS-generated data. On April 16, 2026, the office extended technical support in GIS mapping for special project implementation and conducted geotagging and mapping activities in the municipality of San Miguel. Local project monitoring. The Provincial Planning and Development Office, in coordination with the Department of Interior and Local Government and Provincial Engineering Office, successfully carried out its first quarter monitoring activity covering various local development initiatives across the province. The activity served as an opportunity to review ongoing projects, assess their progress, and ensure that programs are effectively addressing the needs of communities. The monitoring underscored the government's commitment to responsible implementation, transparency, and the efficient use of resources. It also highlighted how development efforts continue to create positive impact on the lives of Surigaonans, from improving livelihoods to strengthening community resilience. Administrative services. Facilitated the 3rd calendar year 2025 Provincial Development Full Council meeting dated December 3, 2025 at Villa Maria Luisa Hotel, San Agustin Sur, Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. Prepared and endorsed the PDC resolutions to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for approval and adoption. Resolution number 23, approving and endorsing to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for adoption through an ordinance the Sustainable Energy Code of the Province of Surigao del Sur. Resolution number 24, endorsing the list of proposed projects of the Department of Public Works and Highways. District Engineering Office 1 for funding under the National Expenditure Program fiscal year 2026 amounting to 3,106,204,750 pesos. Resolution number 25, approving and endorsing to the honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan the herein proposed Public Financial Management Improvement Plan fiscal year 2026 to 2028 of the Provincial Government of Surigao del Sur. Resolution number 27, endorsing to the Honorable Sangguniang Panlalawigan the provision of support for the institutionalizing of the Philippine National Action Plan on Women, Peace, and Security agenda at the provincial level and across all municipalities. And Resolution number 28, institutionalizing the Provincial Land Use Committee in the province of Surigao del Sur defining its functions and roles and endorsing the enactment of an ordinance. Facilitated the Provincial Development Council Executive Committee meeting dated March 23, 2026. Prepared and endorsed the PDC resolutions to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for approval and adoption. Resolution number 1, approving and endorsing to the honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan the herein first supplemental annual investment program calendar year 2026 with a total amount of 947,493,444 pesos. And Resolution number 2, endorsing the list of proposed projects of LGU San Agustin Surigao del Sur for funding under the National Expenditure Program fiscal year 2026 amounting to 996,600,000 pesos only. Successfully facilitated the first Provincial Development Full Council meeting for calendar year 2026 convened on April 13, 2026 at Villa Maria Luisa Hotel San Agustin Sur, Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. Prepared and endorsed the PDC resolutions to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for approval and adoption. Resolution number 3, approving and endorsing to the honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan the herein implementation of the Animo Palito ng Probinsya, Syudad ug Munisipyo program, and recommending the formulation of an appropriate ordinance by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of the province of Surigao del Sur. Successfully facilitated the finalization of PPD or Manual of Operations on January 23, 2026 held at Sukimoko, Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. Successfully facilitated the workshop on the formulation updating PGSDS Local Governance Canvas, dated January 28 to 30, 2026 held at Gold Bar Hotel and Restaurant, Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. Successfully facilitated the presentation, evaluation, and final rating of the submitted Office Performance Commitment Review for the period July to December 2025 rated and January to June 2026 target. Dated March 25 to 26, 2026 at ECI Function Hall, Tandag City. Received, recorded, released. Incoming and outgoing communications. Other activities participated, attended by the office.